Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm doing a requested look, and this is Marilyn Monroe. I do not look like Marilyn Monroe, I understand that. I'm just trying to do a look basically inspired by her, using some of the same techniques that her makeup artist used. So here's the look. Pretty nifty. I've never worn a look like this, especially the bright red. I never wear bright red lipstick. It's relatively, I would say, a moderate, in terms of a moderate, you have to have a moderate ability in makeup to do this. I think that it might be a little bit tough for beginners. I'm not saying don't try it. I'm saying it just might be a little bit tough because I'm using a lot of brushes that, most beginners might not have, like the angled, the MAC brush, the angled, I cannot talk today. You'll see in the video. A couple of the brushes are more on the higher end, and I'll list those all in the description. But so as a beginner, you may not have that. Also, it's kind of difficult. The liner is a little bit difficult for a beginner. But, keep working at it. I still screw up on liner all the time. Liquid liner is not easy. Well, at least to me it's not. And especially this type of liner. It's very different than anything I've ever done. It's not natural feeling to me when I draw it. So I thought that I would just go ahead and show you this Marilyn Monroe look, and I believe it was Junebug who requested this, so thanks, because you gave me some ideas, some inspiration, because I was getting bored doing my looks that I've been sticking to forever. If you have any questions, please let me know. I did my best for the lighting. It's dark here now, about 5 o'clock at night, so I literally don't have any time to do tutorials. So I've got like a lamp here and a lamp here, and I've got a face light on, and I did the best I could. So hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Please don't hesitate to ask questions or leave responses or critiques, whatever. Thanks for tuning in though, and I'm going to jump right into the look. So I hope you enjoy it. Bye!
Okay everyone, so after prepping my eye with Urban Decay Primer's potion, I'm going ahead and applying Hush Frost Cream Color Base, because I've noticed Marilyn had a lot of shimmer on her eye, but in particular areas. Move my mirror here. After that's all good and rubbed in, I am going ahead and applying whatever kind of frosty white eyeshadow you've got. I'm using the one that's in my Sephora palette, but any type of really frosty white eyeshadow would work. And I'm applying that right underneath the brow. And working my way downwards. And starting right about that part of my eye. And make sure to really bring it out on the outside here. Next, I am switching and I'm using the Natural Eye Palette by Too Faced. And the color that I'm using for my taupe, it's called Velvet Revolver, and it's right here. I'm using a fluffy brush, and I'm going to be, see if I can move my mirror over a little bit more, much better. I'm going to be putting that taupe, I don't know if you watched my Venomous Villains tutorial, but instead of going out this way, we're going to be really doing like an upside down U. Getting really, really high up onto the eye. The next thing that I'm going to be doing is applying it's called Honeypot. Whoops. It's a really goldish color, but a lot of shimmer, but not much pigment, so to speak. It's not like super dark. And switching brushes. And I'm putting that just a little bit right here. The next thing I'm going to do is warm it up a little bit, and I'm using, I think, Fab and Flashy. This is by MAC, and I'm using my fluffy brush. Just a little bit of warmth. Now, this is important, brushes. I have to use this brush for this part. I'm going to be taking a darker brown color. This is in Espresso. And I'm going to be drawing a line, following the upside down U shape, but then I'm going to be coming out. Just a thin line, so I just put the color on the very tip. Just like that. See that line that I just drew? It's right on your bone, that bottom part, I believe that's your orbital bone. That's where the line's drawn. You can really wing it out too. I'm going to blend it in a little bit with a blending brush. Oops, where did mine go?
Just following the line.
The next step's very important because Marilyn is definitely there. She uses a lot of white on her eye. I'm using this NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil, and I believe this one is in Milk. Yes. And I'm going to be drawing that all over my lid and outwards, right below this part right here where I winged out, and blending it in with my finger. Now switch back to a white shadow that you have. I'm using NYX in 02 White. This does not have shimmer in it, but it is very white. And I'm using whatever brush you feel comfortable with, really, that you feel packs on shadow. And I'm really packing that white on. Use my blending brush and I'm going to blend it. You might even want to add a little more if desired. But I'm also going to really quickly use that honey pot and just add a little bit more to this area right here. But I'm not whatsoever moving it around much. Just right there. A little bit more white. Where's my brush? Now onto the liner, and this part is going to be the most tricky. If you're kind of new to liquid liners, you really need to be extremely precise with this. But I should back up a step. Before we get started with that, you're going to need a really, really tiny small brush, or maybe an angular brush, and what you're going to do is kind of like do this onto the NYX Jumbo pencil, and you're going to be drawing two lines. The first one is going to be a line right here where the two parts of your eye meet, and I'm going to be drawing it on an angle outwards. Adding more product, I'm going to be doing another line going the opposite. So we've got one line going this way, now we're going to do one line going this way, meeting at the same point, but going in the opposite diagonal. And fill it in so you can really see that triangle that you did. It's like kind of like crow feet that you're drawing. Two really obnoxious crow feet. Think about it that way. Once you have your guide set, now you can go ahead and we're going to start with the Marilyn's liquid liner. Now there's a few different pictures that I've seen. She does it different ways for different things. Some times it's very squared off. Sometimes it's very rounded. I'm kind of going to be doing, just based on the pictures that I've seen, something kind of in the middle. Now, with your liner, that triangle that you drew is no man's land. You do not go in there. Marilyn's makeup artist purposely kept that area very light because it gives the exaggeration of a bigger eye. So for our liner, we're going to draw our first line out directly on top, or not on top of, but directly above that first diagonal. And we're going to really wing it out. Next thing we're going to do is draw another line and just come on a slight angle down. See how I've got that triangle right there? I'm going to fill that triangle in. Now, the next thing we're going to do is draw another curvy line going in the opposite direction. We're going to go upwards. From right here is where I'm going to start. Make sure my liner's good to go. And I'm just bringing it inwards. So far, this is the shape that I've got for right now. We're going to come back to that later, though. Next, we're going to work on the inside part of our eye. And I'm going to be starting from here, but instead of drawing very thin close to my lash line, I'm going to build it thick. And I'm going to keep that very rounded shape that we've got going. And if you see that what I just did there, I just drew one single line, and I didn't connect it at any exact point. I just drew it to where it could meet somewhere right here. It's not exact, though. It's my line so far. I'm just filling in right now. And I'm going to touch this area up, make sure it's very rounded. The final step we're going to do is connect these two kind of like uneven points. And I'm just following the line that we did and connecting it to this point right here. The final thing that I'm going to do is that Marilyn's liner tends to be a bit squared off at this point right here. It kind of gives the appearance of an eye lift. So I'm just going to basically take this line up and square it off, like a rounded square. And I'm touching up the winged part. Okay, so now we've got Marilyn's winged eye. And don't be afraid to really drag this one line out, but make it very thin, like taper it off big time. What you're going to do now, though, is go ahead and apply a foundation. I would suggest applying one the lightest you can go for your skin tone, because she tended to use the very light foundation. So apply your foundation and then get back with me.